A beautiful afternoon. You're welcome to The Buzz, your favorite social media program. My name is Rose Blossom Mui. You can be part of the show by calling in or by texting us. The number will be displayed below your screen TV. Please, when you call in or when you text, make sure you indicate your name and where you're calling from. If you're texting, where you're calling from, and where you're texting from, and of course, your name. So you're welcome to the show. You can watch us on our digital channel at Eurasia 27. Yes, I'm not doing this alone as usual. I have my co-host with me, Patricia. Patricia, good afternoon. How you doing? Yes, but it's a cold, chilling Wednesday for us today. Well, anyways, we have an amazing guest with us. We're still waiting for our other. In fact, today is me and Mr. Nuruddin, but let's not go there yet. We have Shegun Shopito in the building, is the chairman of Bold Art Network. It's good to have you, sir. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Nigerians. Always good to be here. Not always good to speak about Nigeria because there's so much trouble, but at least we are glad to be alive to talk about it.
You look good, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, you were saying something about fashion being a country. What was that? Let's hear. Let's know.
I just thought you should, start packaging this is ready to wear because it comes to the studio with fantastic outfits.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody said it's beautiful.
Oh no,
I'm thinking about that already.
You're thinking so you could.
I release the idea to you.
Okay. Okay, great. So let's talk about a little bit the interview with Abacha's wife. Where she talked about 27 years loot from Abacha. Well, I'm just going to read a little bit that we watch the video to understand. Now, the former First Lady and the late Sani Abacha's widow, Mariam Sani Abacha, lamented while speaking during the anniversary of her husband and has said that she prays for Nigeria and prays that Nigeria stopped telling lies. She also went further to say that her husband kept money for Nigeria but vanished in few months after his death. Now, speaking further, she complained that nobody was talking about that. Instead, people keep mounting blames on her late husband. She concluded by saying her husband must be loved because his name is still being mentioned even after 27 years. Anyway, let's quickly watch the interview. We'll go right back to the studio to discuss more on this. Stay with us. Welcome back. Okay, as much as I feel like laughing along, but this is not funny, to be honest. It is not funny because, the first statement that threw me off balance is the fact that he said Abacha kept that money for Nigerians. So I was going to start my question with that. Shegun, do you think that money was actually kept for Nigerians? Because they said that's looting, right?
No, you can't legitimize her nonsense by asking a question that the answer to which is very obvious.
Yes.
So first of all, let me start. I mean, it's kind of tragic comedy, so we're laughing about it, but it's not funny at all. It's not funny, yeah. It's not funny at all. I remember the day that Abacha died vividly. I was at work, that day, and when it broke, it was rejoicing. Mm-hmm. Everybody in my office, I was in, one of the top banks in Nigeria then. And everybody in my office, this guy is dead, we all flew out, abandoned work. We didn't work again for like 1 hour. Mm-hmm. We're just celebrating and talking about Nigeria. In a corporate organization, of course, we all remember the scenes on the roads and all that. And somehow this woman wants to revise history. And she says that the man kept the money. What's the name of the account that all those monies were sent into?
No, she's saying the man kept some money in Nigerians' accounts for Nigerians.
No, she's saying that her husband kept all of those monies away. He kept it for Nigeria.
For Nigeria, that's what she said.
And you see, because she's his wife, and I think that it is safe to assume that she has benefited from some of that looting. Mm-hmm. She's an accomplice. She should be in jail. She should be in jail. If this was a normal country, she would be in prison.
Even coming out to make such statements.
Long before now, she would have been jailed. For the action, for being an accomplice to the actions of her husband. She wouldn't be, talking as if she even has a voice. In fact, who went to interview her? You know, I have a problem with you guys in the press sometimes. Who gave her a platform? Who gave her a voice? She's supposed to be ashamed, right? She you know, in other parts of the world, people like this, they disappear into the shadows forever. You know, you will see them, they'll be doing their stuff and all that, but they won't be given public platform and a public voice. You know, and then on top of everything, she now abused us. That Nigerians are fools if you believe all those things. We are fools for believing what we saw and live. That money is still being repatriated every year. Every year. The money is being, it's loot. The reason those countries are sending the monies back to Nigeria is because it's understood that this is Nigeria's money. You know, so IBB, after all, wrote a memoir, and the high and mighty, including the president of this country today, were all gathered there to praise him and turn him into a hero. So why won't the wife of one of our most dangerous dictators? I will never forget now. You know, where I was an adult, I lived through these things. Right? These people died. People were slaughtered. People were massacred under this man. And then this woman is coming out and saying all of these things. Look, the only reason I'm being a bit careful with my words is, one, that we're in a public platform, and two, that she's an elderly person, and we should just allow her to live her fully in her old age. It's very unfortunate, but it's a reflection of what is wrong with our country. You know, people like this should not be able to talk in public. They shouldn't be able to, they shouldn't be given the platform, and there should be enough shame, you know, in the country, in our culture, where people recognize that, no, I am not in a good place. I'm not in good standing with public. Therefore, I will keep a low profile. The fact that these people strut around, lecture us, insult us on top of the travesty and abuse and insult and damage that they've done to this country, it just shows how weak we are as a society. Our society is a weak society. Our morals, our culture, you know, all of the guardrails and safeguards that keep human beings behaving normally are not functioning in Nigeria. And it's such a shame.
Okay, so let's talk about diluted funds now. Do you think our government is being transparent enough on the return of these looted funds back to Nigeria?
Yeah, you know, she made a point, and on that I agree. There's a point she made that I agree with. Where is the loot? You know, I keep, Nigeria is just an incredible country, you know. We create words. Do you know that there is Oxford Dictionary, Cambridge Dictionary, they now recognize something called Nigerian English?
Yes, yes.
There's Nigerian English.
Yes, we have
the same way you have UK English,
the
same way you have US English, you know, and then universal, there's Nigerian English. We've created a way of talking, a way of grammatical construction that is not normal, but that the world has now accepted that this is the way they talk their own. You know, and Nigeria created a new word. This one is not new word. Reloot. Reloot.
So you're saying those money are relooted?
So we recover money that was looted, and then the people that recovered it reloot it. The thing will disappear again. That's what she's referring to, and it's such a shame. That happened under Buhari. It was under Buhari, Mr. High and Mighty, Mr. Incorruptible Judge, that we get that word in Nigeria, you know. So it just goes to show how serious our problems are. You know, if under Buhari, I remember Buhari now, you know, I was still a young, I think I was a teenager then. But, you know, the name Buhari and the name Idiagbon used to you become afraid. Soldiers, you're afraid of them. They'll flog the hell out of your brain if you do nonsense. You know, so to now see that same Buhari under him, loot is now being relooted. So much so that the wife of Duta is now accusing them of looting her husband's legitimate loot and insulting the rest of us for thinking that the loot is loot. See how bad our situation is.
Well, from the things that we've heard, according to what they said some of those looted funds which were returned back were used in building this new bridge that we have and all of that. Do you think that is enough accountability for the money?
No, I mean, again, I think that they keep insulting our intelligence, you know, in all of these things. When they say these things, so they don't take us seriously. Because it's very obvious.
The money looted is so much, yet we keep borrowing. So where the money?
We're talking billions of dollars. Billions. I mean, look, how much is the budget of Nigeria? The budget of Nigeria, $32 billion. I mean, if you combine all of the loot that have been recovered from Buhari, you know, Abacha, you know, and those that went before him and all of that, is in several billions. This thing enough money to run this country for at least 1 year. And then if you all the way back, you know, the kind of numbers that people talk about in terms of the amount of money that's been stolen, you know, in the past are numbers that I can't even wrap my brain around. We talked
about the civil servants yesterday, 33 points.
Exactly. You just keep hearing this billion. So, you know, you can't tell us that that's what they used to build bridges now. No. Don't build bridge for us. Collect the money, put it in an account for it. When you start spending it, be given account of what you are doing with that money per time. Maybe a quarterly account or an annual account, but you give a clear that this specific money in this specific account, this is the specific project we did with it. Not that we've used it to build bridges for you, you know. And like they're talking to kindergarten children.
Okay, a message just came in, and this one says, "Good morning to you all in the studio. My name is Caesar from Alagbado. It's a pity that at this stage of this country, people are still allowed to come to the national TV station to grant interviews." I think he's referring to the interview we just watched. Who are kids now to be told all these stories about something we all experienced? Well, I am not surprised because it can only be Nigeria. But let me remind you all, the country is still worse than the way Abacha left it. I weep for this nation. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Caesar, for that one. I think that's the same thing you were saying, granting interviews to persons like this, which, like you said, if it's a country where the system is working, by now, she should probably be in jail because, like you said, and we all know, it's an accomplice. And you're coming out boldly again to say that if this country has now started working again, after this interview, something should have happened. But of course, this is Nigeria. Anyways, okay, so if let's look at it now. If we're supposed to demand for accountability of this looted funds, how can actually Nigerians go about it? Is it possible for us to demand for accountability, and what means can we do that?
I mean, we always have the option of demanding anything from anyone. You know, there are so many platforms. I'm doing that on behalf of Nigerians now. So I'm saying to the president and his team, tell us how much has been recovered. Let's just say since 1999. Let's not go too far back because, you know, if you want to go back to 1990, 1980, you might say it's too far back. We don't have the records. From 1999 till date, how much loot has been recovered, whether it's in cash or in kind, landed property, you know, jewelry, you know, the Deziani, Madueke, loot, you know, all of those fancy, diamond-studded bra, underwear with diamond, all of those things. Can they give us an account? So I'm asking on behalf of Nigerians. Nigerians can ask. You could just go on social media. You know, it's funny. Things have changed. The world has evolved, and where we are today is that the politicians and people in public office, they are on social media.
Of course,
they see everything. All of these hashtags, when they trend, they see it. And when, look, I repeat it all the time. The moment a matter trends sufficiently, and they can see that outrage is uniform, that it's all over. There's unified outrage across the country on all platforms. You tune your TV on, and that's people are saying this thing. You turn to radio, they're saying it. You open your newspapers, print, they're saying it. You go to social media, they're saying it. Politicians always backtrack.
They will respond,
They always respond. So let us demand accountability on any matter that we want. Let's just make sure that we're consistent. Not that one person will be saying, Abacha tried now, she be built bridge for us. Once that happens, politicians know that you are not serious. You're not serious, and you're on your own.
Okay, last message before we move on. Okay, then we'll pick a call. This says, Abacha loot was recovered. Still what we're saying. Where is the money and why are we still borrowing? Thank you, dear presenters. Thank you so much. That's the point. Well, we're still borrowing. That's what we're trying to discuss here in the studio just before your question came in. So yes, like he said, if we need to demand for accountability from the government, we have to, run through without nobody coming behind to say something else. We have to stand and, of course, demand for accountability, even if we have to go by the hashtags. And on the newspaper, it's there, on TV, it's there. You're listening to your radio, you're hearing the same thing. I am certain, because even before the EndSARS started, I'm certain they knew that something was going to come up, and that was because everybody was unified. We knew we're going to protest. So definitely, if we'll do that, I'm not saying protest, but I'm saying if we do the hashtag, we'll put it on every social media platforms, definitely they will give us accountability of the looted funds from Abacha, and of course silence some corruptions that's going on like you said, reloot.
I mean, just a quick rejoinder on that. Yeah. This LSAS that you mentioned, you know, SARS was disbanded now.
Yeah, it was. Eventually.
We're hearing rumors that maybe it's back and all that. But it was disbanded and we're talking of 2020. That's 5 years ago. The same thing. Yeah. Right? It was disbanded. And you know, one of the things that I said to the organizers then, because I knew some of them, we follow each other on Twitter and all that, and I tweeted at them, recognize victory when you have it. If you are protesting and you got the president of the whole country had to address the country. The governor of the state, Lagos State, had to go out and talk to you. You have moved them.
Right.
So, you know, you have done something already there. Unfortunately, they didn't listen, and the unfortunate consequences, the massacre and all that, then followed, you know. But the point is, because we were all united on that subject.
Yeah.
It's shifted. And that's the way it's always.
That's the way, yeah.
Always.
True. Okay, let's just call to move on to the next one. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear us from the studio? Good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from? You reduce the volume of your TV set. It's echoing. Hello? Okay, I have to pick another call. Hello, good afternoon. Oh, Lord. Hello? Yeah, good afternoon. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. I guess we just have to move on. Patricia, what's the next thing we have?
The next story is on the coastal road. The coastal road that they say it's been 30 kilometers is been completed. Anyway, let's read through. You know, the Calabar Coastal Highway project has found itself at the center of a heat-on debate, while government supporters and figures like Reno Omokari claim that 30 kilometers of the highway has already been completed and commissioned. Several netizens and eyewitnesses say otherwise, insisting that only a fraction of that length has been worked on. Reno, in a now viral post, said he personally drove along the 30-kilometer stretch, but a skeptical user for fact-checked and debunked his claim, sparking a firestorm across social media. You know, Reno said that he even took pictures with our
minister.
No, the minister, and then he said he took pictures with what's his name now? The grey-haired man, the writer,
okay, Wale
Soyinka. But you know, he said he took pictures with him there.
Okay. Well, the guy who actually went there to personally survey that road actually, you know, said a lot of things, which I will be playing the video just for a little bit to actually see that. Why he said it is not up to 30 kilometer, and Reno Mokri is still insisting that it is 30, whereas a lot of people have different opinion about that same route. But let's quickly watch this video to hear him if for a fact that is true, or what Reno Omokri said is also true. We'll be right back. Welcome back. He said something which is very vital. Yeah, it might seem as though the 30 kilometer is not exactly 30 kilometer, you know, they actually said it is. But what my problem with what he said is not a problem with what he said, but what he said, he observed, is the fact that there are no tractors, no machines on that road that shows that work is in progress. It means that after commissioning the road, it's as though, you know, everybody left, and that road is going to probably be like that, which is very bad to leave that road like that. What do you say?
It's very complicated. And unfortunately, because our government officials and politicians don't take us seriously as a people, nobody has really bothered to come out and explain exactly what has happened to us. So it's taken just an independent citizen to go out there and then raise questions. And I actually posted that video on my status, and a few of my friends, you know, my privileged friends who live in their cocoon and everything is really nice and all that, you know, they attacked me.
Really?
Why would I even post that? can't I see that the boy is foolish?
How? How do they mean?
And I told, my friend that said that no, he's not foolish. He's just being a citizen. And I think that all citizens should
be able to do that.
If we had more people
doing that.
The time.
Yes.
This guy left his house. Oh, he's a blogger. I agree. He has a podcast somewhere, so he wants to generate views. That's okay. But you go and do your own blog. Go and do your own podcast. Do views on YouTube and make money from it. Or get up
and do something.
And go and ask questions. Now, the questions that he's asking, I've spoken with quite a number of, engineers, civil, and all of that. And I don't necessarily think that there is any disparity. I think the problem is that there is a lack of information.
Okay.
So first of all, if Reno says he drove 30 kilometers, he's lying, because the road, like this boy has said, is not a continued 30 kilometers. It's 20 kilometers, 10 kilometers. And apparently even the 20 kilometers and 10 kilometers are not exactly all together. They are not all complete yet. So for me, the real question is, why are we commissioning it? Honestly,
that's another question.
Whether it is 10 kilometers, 30 kilometers,
it's not done. It's not
irrelevant
finished
to me, honestly. Because eventually we'll do it. Hopefully. Why are we commissioning 30 kilometers? 30 kilometers. Why? That's the question that I was asking that friend of mine, because that friend is a childhood friend. We're very good friends. I love him. He's not a bad person. I was asking him, can you answer the question for me, just between you and I? Why commission 30 kilometers out of 700? It makes no sense. Other than the fact that it's just a show for politics. And we need to discourage that. There are all sorts of conspiracy theories. Let me tell you one. A Atlantic city, right, belongs to a company owned by Shagori. High-tech construction that is fixing that road belongs to Shagori.
Oh.
Okay?
One person.
The same person. So the argument is, yes, that's okay, because the reason the road has been given to High-tech is because they were the ones that did all the reclamation for Eco Atlantic, and therefore they have the equipment and the expertise, and all of that, and the competence. And I said, well, that's fine, but why wasn't it transparently done? However, in the middle of all of that, what has suddenly happened with this 30 kilometers is that for the first time since Eco Atlantic is not completed, but it's there where they're selling land already and people are already operating from there, right? For the first time since the place has gone into use, it has now been directly connected to that axis of Lagos and has been opened up. The problem before was that there was only one access point. So now the access point is double, it's two, and it's opened up a bit more. And some people are saying, perhaps that's all this has been about from the beginning. And perhaps you may see that the project might stall from this moment, because the objective has been achieved. So wait to see. I don't believe it. I'm just telling you what I hear people saying. So we'll wait to see. And the burden is now on the president to prove people that are saying this type of thing. These evil people that are saying this type of wicked thing of our president. He should prove them wrong. So before the end of the following 2 years, his first tenure, let us see the same speed, because this thing was taking just like October last year. It's still just about 8 months, and it's gone 30 kilometers. If you drive along those 30 kilometers, the road is beautiful. It's beautiful. So let us see that road extend. If we extrapolate the time it has taken, let's see us get to maybe 200 kilometers. Let's see us take it. Let it take us into Ondo. Let's be able to drive from Lagos via that corridor down to Ondo. Just imagine what the economic activity that would immediately boost along that axis. So let's see whether that will happen before the end of 2 years, and then we'll know what to say to the president after that.
Maybe they will come back to commission again.
No, they will commission another article. Don't worry. When they get past the point, they will go and do another commission. The president will come back again. Then when they get to, I wish.
Nuruddin was around.
To do what the news of the villages.
I'm telling you, the villages are going to pop up.
When they will do the commissioning.
Okay, all right.
Listen,
please.
I'm just going to check this quickly. He also talked about the towing. That's there's going to be towing from each whatever. And he gave the prices. He said 3,000, each towing. So if you're going 6,000 to go, 6,000 to come, 12,000 naira. Isn't that too much?
Well, we don't know yet. I don't know where he got his information from. The road has not been finished. Not talk of setting up of the toll gate.
Yeah.
So when the road is set up and they set up the toll gate, then we'll see how much they are charging. We know that at the moment, it's 500 naira, 650, 1,000, depending on this type of vehicle you are driving that they were collecting at Ikoyi Bridge and at that first toll gate. The first toll gate at Lekki, at the beginning of Lekki. So that should give us an idea. So we'll have to wait and see. I have no problems with tolling. I think tolling is important. Nigerians, you know, on the flip side of the coin is that Nigerians are used to free things. And the truth of the matter is that in societies that work, nothing is free. You pay for every goddamn thing. Yeah. The only thing you don't pay for is the air you breathe. You know, and during COVID, we ended up paying for it. You know, so we need, you know, the tolling is, I think is necessary. I think it's important so that the road can be maintained, you know, and all of that. But we'll wait and see how it goes. Whether the detractors of government are only being wicked when they say that the project will stop from now. So that observation you made about no tractors, no earth moving equipment there anymore. We'll see whether that's true, but I doubt it. You know, to decommission a project is also very expensive. So I don't think they will just move out like that unless the project is over. So I'm sure the detractors are somewhere packed.
Yeah, okay, let's be hopeful. Let me read some messages before we pick any call and wrap up. This one says, "Afternoon, crew. Your president borrowed to loot, state capture, wasteful and unnecessary travelings, which has not yielded any result. You put Nigerians in darkness while you want to exempt yourself by using solar panel. It shows this is the government of waste by waste and for waste. You are taxing the daylight out of Nigerians, all because of 2027 vote buying gain. While you tell Nigerians to tighten their belt and leave their luxury lifestyle. Now the children are going to pay the debts they didn't plan for, in which they are giving the children's bread and giving it to the dogs, making the people live so hard, corrupt and above the law. Compromiser of institutions cannot offer anything but lies, eye service, excuses, propaganda. That is why we are in this nightmare. It's a shame the worst of us is ruling the best of us. Truly, there was a country." Okay, another one says, "Good afternoon. My name is Lawal Zainab from Surulere. This is my first day of watching the program and I enjoy it." Thank you very much, Zainab, for watching the show. Thank you so much for being part of the show. Okay, so I don't know if we can talk about this just a little bit. Although our time is up, but let's talk about it just a little. Now, this is Falana actually warning Wike to avoid a diplomatic problem. Well, if I have to brush through, the Wike administration in FCT had published the details of about 9,000 letters in papers asking them to pay their ground rent or avoid the risks of forfeiture of their land. Now, the FCT administration announced this, that is to take possession of about 5,000 affected properties owing ground rent between 10 and 43 years and begin sealing and taking over properties of debtors, including the PDP National Secretariat. But President Bola Tinubu granted the defaulters a 14-day grace period to settle the outstanding payments and penalties. Now, the grace elapsed on Friday, June 6, 2025, which was a public holiday. Now, many Nigerians anticipate the next line of action by Wike administration after Salah, while Falana argued that there are about 20 High Court, Appeal Court, and Supreme Court decisions that ruled that the FCT authorities have no right to unilaterally seal up any property within the nation's capital. Well, that's the interview where he said that we won't be able to play that, but of course we can have that displayed. Now, for a fact, he said it is wrong and that the FCT minister do not have the right to go into the embassy or go to the embassy and decide to do whatever they need to do, because because we also are like an international country. We're involved internationally. So it's going beyond. And we all know that somehow if you by mistake jump into an embassy, at that point you'll say they can't even do anything to you. So if a human can be saved just by jumping into or going into that embassy, how much more do you now clear I think that's going to be, like he said, it's going to be a diplomatic problem. But what do you have to say?
I mean, look, no matter how crazy Mr. Wike thinks he can be, he prides himself in being crazy. Like, he can do anything else, do nothing happen because I'm working for the people. No matter how crazy he can be, he can't do it. I dare him. Let him go and do it.
But the president told him to go ahead and not listen to anyone.
Even the president cannot do it. Don't you understand? You have already said it now. An embassy under international law and treaty is an extension of the country that embassy represents. It is literally like you carry the United States embassy is United States soil. So for you to enter it, you need their permission.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't just carry bulldozer and you are declaring war. It's a declaration of war.
You want to seal the place, yes.
It's just all grandstanding, and we know that Wike likes to do that a lot. He likes to talk big and behave as if he's God, but he's not God.
But how about the fact that yes, they are actually owing the
They are not owing. Okay. So I looked into the matter and it's just curious. I don't even know what this is all about, because if you think about it, look, the embassies we're talking about they are big countries, top leading G20 countries, Germany, which other one did they interview? These are big countries. They can't be owing you the figures that I saw. Well, it's ridiculous. Some 2,000 naira. And yes, little bits of piece of
and
money.
That's why you want to see
2,000 naira. The biggest I saw was 1 point something million naira from I think is whether the Greek embassy, something like that. And each and every one of those embassies have come out to say they're not owing a dime. That they have financial systems and processes that ensure that they pay all the taxes, in the different countries that they're in. These societies are organized. They're organized. They're not like the nonsense that we do here. That this same Wike that is a member of this same federal government, that the federal government was owing 4 billion naira for Aso Rock in this country. They're not like that. They pay their bills. We just talked about it now, that in those places, you pay for everything. You think it's the government of Germany that will now come to Nigeria and refuse to pay a 500,000 naira ground rent. It won't happen, because there are systems and processes that will make those things happen automatically. Yes. Towards the end of the year, all of your obligations to all of your different stakeholders, they come up, and then somebody processes it, you make the payment. So I don't know what this drama is all about. I don't think there's any embassy, not anyone, even Ghana embassy also said they don't owe. They don't know what this is all about, So I think this is just drama. It's inconsequential. Let them face the Nigerian citizens that are owing them and collect their monies legitimately. If there's any fine or penalty you want to apply, just follow the rule of law in executing that, and then we'll be fine.
Well, we're here to still watch the drama that would unfold and know if for a fact he's just calling a bluff, or he wants to actually be wicked.
You should try it. I encourage him. I want to see something.
Why are you encouraging him to do something?
I want to see something.
What do you want to see?
Why are you encouraging him to do something that will put him in trouble? Not just him. I think Nigeria, every one of us in trouble.
All of us.
Acting like the weekend that he is.
Yeah. Anyway, we've come to the end of the program. It's been so much fun. And yes, I'm going to say I miss Nuruddin today, not being part of the show. And somehow, why do I feel like he's avoiding to give me salamit? I'm just kidding. Anyways, it's been fun. Thank you so much for being part of the show, Chef Don. Thank you so much. We do appreciate you. And thank you, our viewers, callers. I do not know. We could not really hear you. Sometimes you call, you do not tune down your TV set. And sometimes we get children calling. I don't know. But anyway, it's been fun. Thank you so much for watching it. Patricia, wrap up.
It's been a day, a long day actually. I had so much fun. I was just listening and doing the country. So much to talk about the country. Anyway, we'll do the same time tomorrow. Stay tuned with us tomorrow by 12. That's what I will be. My name is Patricia.
Yes. Okay. And I will see you tomorrow. Same time. Of course, we'll still talk about what's trending and what's buzzing on social media. My name is Rose Blossom. Do have a beautiful day for yourself. Bye for now.